defensive plays, being an absolute nuisance in midfield. And if you can make yourself a nuisance up against a Semper team which are looking uninspired, again, I don't see any reason why this underdog of an outfit can't take this series to the distance yet again.
Well, it's another best of 5 as all of the series are going to be today. We're going to be stepping into the best of 7 territory during the weekend. But this is for the top seeding in the group. And we're going to be looking out for either of these two teams to make it great shots for SMPR Esports to open up the game so far. And really, it has been mostly, this match has been spent in the green side of the field. Justice off to Peaky. Peaky gets it going. And it still continues. The presumed underdogs, Relic, are scoring first, winning games first. That's the same thing that they did versus Carmine in the previous series. And now SMPR Esports fall to one counterattack.
The communication between this squad, Jam, is on point today. The amount of times where we've seen successful shadow strikes from Multiculti because they've just been on the same wavelength as Chaussette forced into another big save there. It really does go to show that if you risk it at the right time, you're going to get yourself some luck. You're going to make yourself some fortune. And Chaussette, after a big save down the other side of the pitch, feeds off this challenge from Justice and Cassio that ends up neutral. Kek a little bit misplaced there on his way back to net. Difficult to read how the ball trajectory is going to unfold from that position. And Semper able to get back on level peggings.
And a little bit of change of cars from Chaussette, previously in a Semper decaled Octane, and now in a very bright Fennec. Definitely trying to get something just to flash in front of FC Multiculti's eyes and just wreak chaos as he usually does. But now it's Heck trying to start something of his own. Goes for a solo effort. He had the right ideas, but by the time he already landed, I think Chaussette had all the right ideas to stop the right ideas of his opposition. And so nothing comes out of that one. More gathering on the flanks, and this still almost somehow finds Chaussette, but look at that, another opening. If this drops in the waiting hands of Peaky, it might be trouble for SMPR Esports. They managed to get back in tight themselves, and now looking for a clear.
Player's not going to get far, though. Heck looking for options in field. Up steps Peaky. Up steps Chaussette with the save. Possession given away into the midfield. There's Heck again, as he seems to be everywhere right now and across the previous series against Carmine Corp, if you're just joining us. Yes, Carmine Corp in the lower bracket. Stay tuned to see if they end up going home on day 1 of Group B. Well, Multiculti. I sort of was looking at this unfolding thing, and surely this isn't going to turn into much. Unfortunate there, and brilliance from Chaussette. I know that we were picking up on Exotic having a really good personal series. Maybe not brilliant, but solid enough. I think Chaussette has been the standout player for Semper. Yes, he delivers a 6, 7 out of 10 every time, but it looks like we're starting to elevate that to an 8 or 9, as a 3rd is the number going up onto the score sheet for Semper. There's that man Exotic.
And Chaussette sets it up so perfectly, goes for a bump as well. Backwards, trying to get onto the defender, try to discombobulate him in any way possible, and so he does. He might not be scoring the goal himself, but the follow-up is true and right on target. That 1-goal lead, unfortunately, doesn't stand for anything, and as more passing plays are coming through, did they almost pull up a 1-2-3? They almost did. Almost doesn't even score him half a goal. Unfortunately, maybe this is going to come in. And as more pressure is rolling in, they need more players with boost. Chaussette is out, but there's Exotic, there's Cassio. More attempts are coming in on through, and FC Multiculti, the last thing they want is getting stuck in their own half again.
Now, this is a lot more. That's my point. This is a lot more from SMPR Esports.
That's the whole point?
It's just more goals, more passing plays, more individual brilliance, and maybe it just takes that little bit of inspiration from Chaussette to be able to spark this roster into life. I peek a question in chat. Y'all think Exotic can fill Archie's shoes? No. What I do think is that he can offer Semper a chance to readjust their playing style to something which will, in the long term, benefit them. Chaussette off the backboard. I think him being allowed to push up a lot more is going to benefit him. I know he often gets assigned to the anchor role. He does have some really good offensive chops, but so does Heck. Completely dismantling the final defender. Don't count Multiculti out of this just yet.
No, by no means. Patience from Heck is imperative for him to set up his teammate peeking in front of the net. And SMPR Esports, they're still in the lead. They still have the shooting opportunities. They still have a lot of firepower. Now I don't need to hold on to it, Justus. Does he still have the dribbling chops? We saw his attempt at the very least. And he was looking up to par, but that's a lot of SMPR Esports players that he needed to beat on the runway to that one.
Exotic going for safety, the better part of Valor, across his own net. And that's straight back into Peaky's path.
Nope.
Savior medal for Chazette, and a deserved one of that, using the woodwork to bail out what was an unnecessary defensive mishap as Exotic comes in on Justice. Peaky towards net, and that's going straight back into the blue
Super
half.
player.
Lion's share of a minute for Multiculti to find a third, or alternatively for SMPR to hold on to this third, / find a fourth to put the game to bed. Very similar story in terms of at least how close the games were, and that was a great opening for SMPR. Massive save from Gek. And will they be able to transition? No, they're going to stay conservative, looking for boost. Lovely pass back in for SMPR Esports, and Exotic not with the finishing application.
More and more passes are coming through, and I wonder how quickly Multiculti is gonna just read those passes even more. That was, by the way, a beautiful redirect here and there. Justus with the right idea, but still defenders in the way. Net not wide enough for him to get it on target. We saw in the previous series between SMPR Esports and Mustaflock that at some point Mustaflock started reading everything that SMPR Esports were trying to do passing-wise. I wonder if for FC Multiculti it's going to take them 1 game, 2 games to read those passes as well. For now, though, this is looking like a done deal. We'll be dropping to the ground. Whether it would have been a 4th for SMPR or a 3-2 wouldn't matter. They're still taking the game number 1. And Chasset was right there, are a forefront of the attack. So you could see 15 shots in total for SMPR, and you could see there through the game plan and possession as well. They were in the driver's seat, but there were 2 goals that Multiculti put against them.
One of which was most certainly just a SMPR mishap. Chazette, standout. I could see chat throwing praise unto him, and he has certainly stepped up in a big way this challenge. The audacious doink, that is beautiful. There was nothing that Justus could do about that. Just far too powerful a shot in the end. Exotic as well, stepping up very nicely indeed. Again, Chazette right in the center of it, and so look, I don't think it was necessarily a dismantling of Multiculti, and I think that Multiculti was certainly trying to go punch to punch with SMPR, but SMPR just had a fantastic first opening couple of minutes, which allowed them to almost install a new set of confidence that, hey, this roster might not necessarily be what we wanted. Of course, we wanted Archie, not that that's Exotic's point of view. Of course, Exotic's very happy to be here, but the roster can work, and the adaptations to the playstyle can provide plenty of opportunities to score across the entire roster. You don't have to be focused on one person. Exotic fancying the solo play! And look at this! We talked about the audacious doink from Shawset earlier. Bob's your uncle. Cassio keeps Justice rooted. And that's another opening lead for SMPR.
Sometimes you don't even need the bump or a demo, you need the threat of it to absolutely nullify the last defender, and that's exactly what Cassio did on his move on Justus. By the time the ball was floating into the net, he was just in no man's land to make any kind of touch on it, and in the end that just rolls in for... Now in game number 2, it's SMPR opening up the scoring. FC Multiculti, not sure if playing from behind is necessarily their forte. They definitely are going to try out an attempt at a team pinch is coming on through. Oh, that's not a team pinch. That's Justus in front of net again, but this time he makes the reach. He makes the clear. Not far away enough, though.
So for those of you interested, again, I'm trying to keep chat informed. They're Exotic, probably most well known for his time at Solary back in the Rival Series alongside Kerrion and Melishisu. Really exciting roster that unfortunately just didn't survive into the new era of RLCS, and from there on out it very much went downhill. And Exotic, much like the other members really of that old Solary roster, trying to conjure up something of a renaissance period, and I think he can do that really at SMPR. This is probably the best roster that he has had in terms of just talent around him, as Justice managing to get around the defense, and Heck doing a full 180, noticing the opportunity that was available to them. Multiculti tie,
Oh, if it wasn't for that touch in the middle of his low-flying aerial for Justus, this would have been a goal. He wouldn't have been able to get the ball under his control, but in just a couple of daft touches, he gets it under his control, flicks it over one standing defender, and heck, yeah, just handbrake, immediate J-turn, and yep, I'm coming for this one. Cassia says, just wait one more second, we're gonna score a goal. That's exactly what he does.
Sabbath at the just a really nice backboard pass, and I think Peaky was almost expecting that initial shot towards net to go into the back of the net, which is why he stayed rooted. And ultimately SMPR Esports, after a very unnerving potentially equalizer for Multiculti, able to bite back instantly. Shozet meeting up to Peaky, and Peaky able to win 2 challenges in a row. Here's Justice again. Is this lining up nicely? Yes, for a SMPR player. Peaky forced onto his own backboard. And I hate to say that I'm wrong when I was ready to put Crafters in the bin with his opinions about how SMPR was going to completely dismantle Multiculti, but that was a SMPR Esports earlier that was just looking so devoid of anything exciting really going forward. It looked so back to basics that I was really worried for them, whoever they were going up against in this winners final. They have really turned the tables. It's almost like they've turned on a light switch, Jam, and we can see this roster clicking a lot more comfortably. We can see the passing plays coming out. I mean, look at that brilliant infield pass. Again, good read from Peaky to deny what would have almost certainly been a third.
I mean, I'm afraid, man, it's already on tape, and Craftman is currently looking out of his trash can where you put him.
I'm owning up to it, Crafters. I love you.
Full-on Oscar the Grouch style. But SMPR Esports with a lead in game number 2 with 2 minutes remaining, trying to find yet another. Well, they're out of their defense and trying to work past their opposition. But Chasset and the rest of SMPR Esports are just not allowing. How are the dribbling skills? Heck, Casio. Those tiny passes back and forth, I'm absolutely loving them. It again, once again, shows that SMPR Esports are comfortable in relying on each other and expect their teammates to be in the spot where they're about to put the ball. That really plays a number on the teams that are strictly following the ball, following the first player. And right here, Cassia almost baited 2 of the opposing players by not going for a play, just waiting it out. Still, the angle was not right for him, and so he did not go.
Of course, that is a fine line to balance yourself on if you're SMPR. 1 person out of rotation, 1 miscommunication, and you're basically opening up the door for your opposition to score, or at the very least relieve the pressure and refill the boost canisters, because that's certainly something that it's almost like a side effect really of this style of play, is you're looking to just work down the boost reserves of your opponent so that it's easy enough to score, rather than using the mechanics, which we saw a distinct lack of in SMPR's previous series up against Must-Do Fluck. 45 seconds left on the clock. And it's still a very tight affair, to be honest. It's still a 1-goal game. As much as SMPR have dominated possession, dominated the field in general, they've still not been able to put that really finite dagger in the back of Multiculti. And in fact, Multiculti now starting to, well, they were putting together an extended stay in the orange half, but not on this occasion. I noticed also we've gone back to orange and blue, which I'm surprised that we didn't pick that up initially, but apologies to those who are enjoying the green. Apologies to those who enjoy Multiculti scoring, because it looks like they're not going to be doing that unless there is a last opportunity here. Peaky, and that is going to go over the bar. That's going to go all the way down the other side of the pitch. Peaky's going to keep it up.
One more.
Rule 0/Rule 1, depending on your heritage, in effect. Justice. And I'm, of course, speaking about the old SARP crowd. For us, it is very much Rule 1. Yeah, it finds itself to the ground eventually, and SMPR is going to pick up that second win, getting the job done, Jam, but with a much more convincing fashion. Multiculti still not out of this.
No, and for SMPR Esports, they would wish for more goals. They would love to find another one to add to their tally, so it isn't a 1-goal affair in which they're forced to always really look back and look at what Multiculti still can do. But win is a win. 2 wins are 2 wins, and if my math is right, if SMPR Esports win again, they're going to be through to the playoffs as the top seed of their group in a very, very comfortable position. And with their play, it was not a full-on dominant play. It was not, they just swept their opposition and just threw them to the ground, stomped them, and then walked away. but those are wins nonetheless. And the matter of the fact is, we've seen how close the competition is across the board in Dacia Spring Invitational. And it's great to see the European scene is flourishing just about as RLCS Spring Split is starting. So I'm hoping to see both the signed teams and everyone else all across. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing Casio and company as he gets himself an opener.
This is a Casio classic, setting himself up on the midfield circle and hammering it towards the net, catching out a rotation. And yet again, in the first 20 seconds, that is SMPR with an early lead. If they were to convert this win in the series, whether it be through a 3-0 sweep, whether it be a little bit longer a process, they would be heading up against Team Vitality tomorrow, which certainly is exciting given that new roster. And certainly the way that SMPR's looking, I wouldn't bet against them in that particular series. I remember in seasons gone by, we'd look at Vitality versus SMPR and we think, oh, that's a bit of a step too far for this SMPR / Top Blokes roster to maybe try and overhaul Vitality. But this is a very different time. This is a very different Vitality. And to be fair, it's a very different looking SMPR Esports that looks a lot more complete at this early moment in time in the transitional period. First minute come and gone, Jam. Multiculti, they find a way to the net of SMPR Esports, but not really anything threatening as of yet.
They need themselves a goal, but Heck immediately rotates out. Maybe Peaky and Justice can do something? Of course they do. The rotation works out. It's on point. And with the Multiculti get himself a tie goal, the third game is not decided just yet.
The goal was so important that it broke our stream. You're welcome, Multiculti. You are very welcome indeed. You are welcome for that equalizer goal to keep you in the series, and we do apologize greatly for the PowerPoint presentation. There we go. Now we're back to a proper video player, and now we're really back in time or back to the correct time, I should say. If we're back in time, we're going to previous series, aren't we? 3 minutes 30 left on the clock. And SMPR, I'm sure, will be a little bit disappointed with that one, a little bit clumsy in defense. Not the Multiculti are going to care one jot. They know that if they lose here, they're heading down to the lower bracket. They are, of course, safe in the knowledge that they will be going to Saturday regardless, but they would love that better seeding. Although, I mean, to be fair, again, going back to that Vitality point, Jam, I think now's probably the best time to face this Vitality roster when it looks so uncomfortable.
And I do believe that one of the wins that SMPR Esports took in during RLCS X, the whole regional, was when they defeated Team Vitality on the way there. And when we were listening to Casio, I do believe it was, talking about the win afterwards, he said, he has been asked, when did you start believing that you can take the whole tournament? And they said, it was when we defeated Team Vitality. We knew that on that day, perhaps we can do everything. Chaussette can do a lot, and this included. And a little bit of a kerfuffle in the middle of the field. Everyone trying to... That demo, I would say that was borderline not a demo and just a bump, but Chaussette goes into Multiculti's car like hot knife through butter and gets himself the demo, the ball, and the goal.
Justice rotating out, Peaky bumped out the way as well. It was a perfect storm for SMPR Esports, who strike back with Gale Force power into the lead, but it remains a slender lead nonetheless. They'll be feeling much more comfortable with a third as Justice takes out Exotic. That's up and down, straight into the hands of Peaky. Justice going for the corner, and that's where he's going to find Exotic. And I'm going to pronounce that wrongly every single time, I imagine. Exotic. That's cute. Really nice. Peaky with a good read, a good save. Back to Justice again. Everything good going through Justice right now. Off the woodwork via Chaussette. Exotic beats out Heck again, who has definitely lost his mojo a little bit, lost his way. Very quiet, but that is an excellent save to shut me up.
That's a start for something that FC Multiculti can do on the other end of the field. But these players coming in on out and trying to set up something in a corner, it feels like the angle is just not right for FC Multiculti to create something, so they have to try again. The ball is heading down that direction, but SMPR Esports are still keep on returning it back to the Multiculti side, back to the Multiculti side. Those demos might open up something. Chaussette is out of the play. Heck tries to play it underneath. That's not the first time he tried to play it low. But SMPR Esports just do not bite. Every single time they go for a 50-50 challenge, they're wise enough to both stay somewhere in the middle where they always can go for an aerial, but always can block something on the ground.
Apologies for the more technical gremlins. This must be the work of an enemy stand, I'm sure. And, well, magical power, special powers. I don't know what Multiculti are going to put
Beautiful
together here. They're going to
pass.
put together a beautiful passing play. That's exactly what they're going to do. 2-2.
2-2, but what FC Multiculti needs is one goal, and then somehow not letting SMPR Esports to score on them. SMPR, right now, with the 2 wins in the series, third one will see them through to the playoffs, and FC Multiculti are on very shaky ground. Those sands are slippery, those sands are quick, and SMPR Esports, just as quickly as conceding, might score another one. That's gonna be nowhere. If only Justice could have found a proper clear, but there comes the demo. There comes Exotic. There's Chaussette already waiting. There's Chaussette already shooting. Perhaps a follow-up, but there's just too many Multiculti players in front. By the point those demos happened and the backboard plays happened as well, Multiculti managed to recover themselves.
We know the Multiculti are not too unfamiliar with the concept of a long overtime as well, going well over 3 minutes with Carmine Corp, of which they came out the victors in that one, by the way. Infield pass. And that's going to find its target, and it's a huge save from Justice. The follow-up is put well wide. Chauzette's going to want that one back.
Well, let's see if in the overtime they can create it, and Chaussette might immediately take that one back.
Oh my word.
1, 2,
Multiculti.
3, and done with another 3 games in a row. SMPR Esports, each one incredibly close as well, and that is by no means, well, in many ways, rather, thanks to FC Multiculti and them battling until the very last step. But SMPR Esports get these 3 wins again, and with the perfect day so far, and the last series of the day for them, are moving on to the playoffs.
Big F's in chat for Multiculti. That could not have gone any worse, from a 3-minute 38 to a 3-second overtime. That is not how you want to see this one. SMPR Esports, they give off the vibe of the kid who's done just enough studying to like scrape a B grade, so that he doesn't look uncompetitive in regards to the rest of his class, but clearly isn't still there. Like this was much better, don't get me wrong, but still for Multiculti to be pegging them back at various points during that series, a better team might have had more to say in that, and that's not to discredit Multiculti. They are playing very well today. To even qualify for tomorrow, I think, is a big upset in regards of just looking at the overall results of today. That said, SMPR's not going to care one bit. As you rightly say, they've come home with 2 sweeps across both of the teams that they were expected to win. The Exotic seems to be slotting in well enough. I think there is certainly more from this roster to come, and the fact that they are winning games, it might be a grind, yes, but they are winning games, Jam. That's certainly a lot more than Renault Vitality, or Team Vitality, should say. I forget that the team is, it's just a team now. It's just a team. There's no other sponsor.
And the name to keep on your mind is, of course, Dacia and Dacia Spring. Without the sponsorship of Dacia, this tournament wouldn't have happened. And do check out all the information. Dacia Spring, the electric car, has been in production for close to a year now, and I've looked into it. And
Beautiful car.
It's a beautiful car. I want an electric car. My next car will definitely is going to be electric, and I'm looking at Dacia Spring. It is, at least over here, 18,000 euros, and the rebate that the government gives us is 4,500. So everyone can get this car, and I think it's like directly just aimed at folks who know that, yeah, I would like an electric car as well, and can I afford it? Because everything that I've seen was out of everyone's price range, and this, I think this is a good deal, so folks, do check out your local dealer for more information. Dacia Spring Electric, as more electrifying Rocket League action is continuing right after the break.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Dacia Spring Electric Tournament, Day 2, as we cover off Pool B of our 4-day tournament. My name's Craftman, that is Spooks, and we are ready for our first and only elimination game today. One team has to go home out of the 4. The other 3 will be moving to Saturday to go into the playoff bracket. But one of these teams that you see below me, either Carmine Corp or Must You Fluck, will be going home today and take no further part in the Dacia Spring Electric as we have a look at our bracket from today. As you can see, SMPR and FC Multiculti getting through to the upper finals, but SMPR just stomping through them 3-0. Meanwhile, Must You Fluck and Carmine Corp, surprisingly enough, Carmine Corp find themselves on the brink of elimination here, Spooks.
Game 5. That is quite painful to lose in, and especially seeing how Semper basically swept FC Multiculti. So for Carmine Corp, it's going to be a tough task. And for Mustafluk, maybe even tougher. I don't think this is the matchup anyone really expected coming into this. But it's the matchup we're going to be seeing. And from the sounds I am hearing through my headphones, I feel like we're going to get underway of Game 1 quite soon.
Yeah, the crowd is all fired up and ready to go over on Manfields. But, I mean, we were talking to Relic just before, well, after we came off of off of our previously game when we saw Carmine Corp play against FC Multiculti. And he kind of said that it wasn't really Nolly's fault. Everyone might point to Nolly saying, oh, yeah, the new guy, wasn't the best. But for him, and to be honest, I agree with him, it was Astral and Itachi that didn't really seem like they were playing up to their full potential earlier on. So I'm interested to see how they're going to get on against this Must You Flux side on the verge of dropping out of this tournament.
Yes, they have to try and come back, and it won't be easy against Carmine Corp, but we have seen the impossible already happen today, but it's going to be quite hard with Itachi opening us up. Getting the first goal once again quite soon. We have seen this before for Carmine Corp.
That we have a quick start. They were able to take a couple of games off of Multiculti earlier on when they scored first, and only when they scored as well. The 2 games that they did win were 2-0 and 1-0 respectively. That 1-0 being a 38-second overtime, where Nolly had a great play from his own half. Itachi doesn't even need to take it from his own half. Close shot, top corner.
Second goal, and that is the type of stuff we like to see. Nolly just a bit quicker than Metzgray, meaning that he could get to it. And then a little bit of a tap in from that pass on out. And Creamy, of course, with that car. I've seen him play in this before. I'm not surprised he's playing in this once again. I will probably try and look away from the car as much as possible, as probably everyone else will as well.
Yeah, it's just a splurge of color, and not in a good way. There's now Must You Flock trying to get something going on offense of their own. It was managed to take it out of his own half. Creamy just whiffing on that one with a little boost in the tank. This is better from Carmine Corp. Nice passing play, finds Astro. Astro only finds Mads on the goal line. Now the transition from Must You Fluck still not great, and Carmine Corp taking full advantage of that as Astro gets a third on the boards.
And really, Carmine Corp really has just woken up a tiny bit. I see a couple demos coming out. I see a couple of passing plays coming out. This feels like a team that I like to look at and like to see. But on the other hand, Mustafluk really needs to find their footing right now. You can't just get completely outplayed during game 1, but that's the way things are looking right now as Itachi sets up. That's great. That's not what you like to do, as Itachi once again with the control of the ball passes on to Nolly, who tries to pre-jump it, but Mats saw it coming and blocks it off this time around.
And I wonder if the loss for K-Cop earlier on, Spooks, probably did them more good than harm, because they do seem like a completely different team. They're passing to each other, they're finding each other. It's really clean right now from K-Corp as Astro tries to find the double touch off the backboard, but he'll leave it for Itachi. And this is just K-Corp taking complete control of this game.
I mean, we didn't even talk about predictions, but if I would ask you right now, I think I already know the answer. It's looking like Carmine Corp wants to sweep their way through this one and really go on as quick as possible.
Well, it's a
Molly.
good thing we didn't ask predictions before, because
Yeah.
I think I would have said, I would have probably still picked K-Corp in the end, but I would have certainly picked it maybe 3-2, maybe 3-1. They keep this form up, this is going to look like a sweep for them, because Multiculti just has not been able to get anything in the way of offense going. Here comes a shot from Matsgray though, off the bar. Mads does follow that one up, and Matsgray will come in, but Creamy just over the top, just miscommunication. I think Matsgray had an opportunity at that, even with no boost.
Perhaps, but in the end, that is what sometimes happens with these types of pickup teams, that those, well, you would almost say just, it was a voice comm problem where they just aren't communicating right or good enough with one another, as Nolly into the air with the flipper set once again, just very easily takes it past one, trying to take it past the second one, but not able to do so. And I think Corp will probably just try to ease it out, end this game just with the 4-0, maybe get another one on the score sheet. They probably wouldn't mind that either, but just finish it off as quick as you can right here.
Yeah, just don't make any silly mistakes, and Corp will be on their way to getting this first one on the board. As for Multiculti, a double demo even does come in. That will open the door and get Matsgray one on the board, but for Multiculti it might just be too little too late here at the end of game number 1, as they've really struggled to get their mojo together here, at least at the start of the series.
But it is at least a goal, it is at least an opening, and that's always something for the mental aspect of this game. When you get that one goal at least, it sometimes just feels a bit better, unless you get 7 once, then it still doesn't feel as good. But we haven't reached that territory just yet. You would need a couple more goals from Corp, but they are trying to do it together once again. I think they're maybe taking the team aspect a bit too far right there, though.
K-Corp fans will just say they're setting up the Brazil. That's all they're doing. They might be, as Nolly and Itachi go for a pinch in front of net. It does seem more solid, and I mean, mentioned it earlier that Astro and Itachi just kind of looked out of place earlier on against FC Multiculti. Now here they seem more at one with each other, and with Nolly as well, who's just been running around causing havoc. Itachi and Astro just seem refocused on this game and on this series, as Nolly will put a 5th in. If it wasn't confirmed already, it is now, but K-Corp working together as one cohesive unit.
So Nolly got the bump and got a small touch onto that ball to still get it on target as well. He pretty much just did that out of nowhere. I had to relook at the replay right there, because I did not see that happening at all in that manner.
Yeah.
And from internal sources, I have heard the reason why Multiculti is losing. Do you want to know?
I want to know. Give me the details.
It is due to Creamy's car design. This is 100% factual.
Do you know, I'd have to, you know, my sources are saying exactly the same. I mean that's everyone's favorite sources. Sources say, oh my goodness, well, do you know, if they were setting up the Brazil, they've just ruined it. And Matsgray does get his 2nd on the board. It's not really going to mean much unless you can score 3 in 20 seconds. And judging by the way Multiculti have been playing, I doubt that's going to happen here, Spooks, but they still have a chance. I'm not going to do that, but that's just disingenuous right now. Oh, maybe. Oh, well, you know what, Spooks?
It's 12 seconds.
You know what, Spooks?
It is 12 seconds, Crafters.
They still have a chance.
12. I don't know what fairy dream you're living in, but in 12 seconds, 2 goals, it seems pretty much just done. Does
6
it ain't
seconds
happening.
ago.
It would be the greatest goal in the entirety of this game, but this just proves to me that it isn't going that way. The ball almost enters the goal another time as Astro just wastes more time. The ball will drop on down. That's the 6-3 on the score sheet. And like I said, Crafters, it ain't happening.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't think it was going to happen. I mean, 1 second, they still haven't. No, they don't actually have a chance. I can't actually.
3 goals, 1 second, easily doable.
Bang, bang, bang. You score a goal every half, like less than half a second.
Did you just see that, Crafters?
No, I was too busy doing hand movements that no one could see.
I can tell it for you. Pretty much 4. Well, in total, 6 people went for that kickoff.
Was it full
It was the
six-man
bot
kickoff? Love
kickoff.
that. Love that.
You know the bot kickoff. You always see that it's just like straight ahead and just mindlessly going for that.
Mm,
I hope we can see it again. I doubt it. We have it, but
yeah.
that is a piece of art.
It's someone clip that, save it. Something rough for Rocket League history, perhaps. But recorded in the history books. The main thing, there are no pictures in the history books because this one was a 6-3 for K-Corp. And it got maybe a little bit more uncomfortable towards the end as Musty Fluck tried to rally back. But everything just seemed to be clicking for K-Corp and nothing really seemed all that amiss. And I mean, we talked earlier about how they seemed quite one-dimensional, quite boring to watch against Multiculti. But they were coming out of their shell. Not everything was squarely on the shoulders of Nolly. Itachi and Astro playing their part.
And it seems they really want to get that revenge match against FC Multiculti, but you still need to finish this match off. You still need to win it and get 2 more games, but it isn't going to be easy. But this ball getting missed by Creamy could have been the 1-0 lead quite early on.
Early chance for Mads. Denied by the defensive K-Corp. Oh, here comes Mads again. That's what you want to see from Musty Fluck. They've not really shown all that much in the way of offensive creativity. If they're pulling out shots from midfield with enough power and accuracy behind them, could cause K-Corp a few head-scratching moments on their defensive line as Matt Gray goes in for the dive on Noli. He will lose that one out to the Englishman, and the bump with the air dribble is on the goal line, is out, and Musty Fluck get away with murder. Could go right back down for the quick counter attack, and Mads, he's absolutely done him.
One way all the way to the other end, and that is a way to counter attack. I don't even know who was it that shoved the ball down. I believe it was Nolly with the aerial bump
Nolly,
as well. And then getting saved. I want to rewatch it because that ball was like 90%, if not more, inside the net.
Yeah, it was like you just blow on that ball. You don't even need to hit it. You just blow on it with a breath of fresh air. And it's hitting. Oh, that one. Chance there for Nolly and Itachi to hook up. Here comes Mads on a quick counter attack once again. And K-Corp. They had Astro back. They've maybe learned from their mistakes here, but they've not learned from this one. Rolled round the corner and Musty Fluck have a 2-goal lead.
And see how perfect this ball stays close to the wall. Astral did not expect that. Did not expect his speed, maybe even. And that leads to this 2-0 lead from Musty Fluck. But what I am noticing, though, and what I'm quite happy about, is that from Karma Corp, their offense is not as one-dimensional. Yes, you're still down, maybe going 3-0 down, but they have been looking for passes. It's not just the same thing over and over and over again.
One thing I mentioned earlier about K-Corp's mentality in the past that I've seen on RLCS broadcasts many a time when they've been on and had their player face cams on, is that when they go down maybe 2-0, 3-0, maybe even lose a couple of games in the series, you just see it in the faces of a lot of the players, especially Astro, that you can sometimes get a bit down in the dumps and not really have that mentality to push through and keep the offense going for K-Corp. As this one just hovering about in the midfield area now taken up by Noli. Mads out. So it's going to be interesting for me to watch how K-Corp, resolve themselves, bounce back here. Because the bounce back factor for K-Corp has not really been a factor up until now, but Astral, that pulls them within one.
And you talk about a bounce back, and they bounce back right away. Isn't it wonderful sometimes, crafters?
It's lovely.
I was gonna say, I will take your silence as an acceptance, but it seems that you have accepted anyway.
I will accept that I may have cursed Musty Fluck there. I'm very sorry to the nation of Denmark.
But I don't think they will care too much. They will probably just move on, except that they are still ahead 2-1, 2 minutes left. This ball going towards the side. Creamy can't get to it another time. Astral hits it further up into the orange half, but Mats is like, no. You guys have the ball for a bit. You can take control of it. As Itachi gets 50 in the middle. Quick shot from Nolly, not on target though. As well, it was on target, but Mats was also right in its path. And this ball into the middle, and one way or another, it ends up into the net.
Oh, Itachi just turned around saying, hey, look what I found. Itachi, he tried to push it through himself, and then he gets bumped by the I believe that was, I couldn't quite see who it was on the goal line. It was, who was it? It was Creamy, I think it was, yeah, because I did see the horrible paint job on his car. He's just in the wrong place at the wrong time, bumps Itachi back into the ball, and all of a sudden the 2-goal lead is evaporated, but Matt's Gray pushes them back in front.
The 2-0 lead is gone. All evaporated, like you said, but Mats Gray and Mats work together and get themselves back into the lead quite quickly, and that is the response you would want to see from a team like Multiculti. Now can they keep a hold of this lead as Creamy with the demo will open up some space for Mats. They still have 1 minute and 20 seconds left to go. Mats looking for a fourth goal for himself, but this ball going a bit too wide and safe, as well as Astro trying to push this one back forth once again onto the backboard into the middle, but Mats saw it coming, and Nolly getting 50 right there by Mats Gray. Back to Astro, and you can tell the speed is slowly starting to amp up and go quicker and quicker.
Great touch there by Astro. Unfortunately not being able to follow it up with an accurate shot by Itachi. Maybe down the other end. Oh, Nolly has to make a intercepting play to send that to the backboard and prevent Multiculti from making any more impact. Itachi again through. Astro in a position to shoot. He'll call in. Nolly slows it down off the bar and out again. Carmine Corp with the game on the line have to score right now if they want to keep their lead in the series intact, but it's going to go in for the fourth, and Mads, oh boy, Carmine Corp falling apart the last second here.
Once again, Carmine Corp is just on offense, is getting great shots on target, but then it just doesn't want to go in, and eventually the ball gets cleared all the way towards the other end, and then a beautiful redirect by Mats will mean that it's a 2-goal lead once again in favor of Multiculti, and I don't think this one is going to evaporate like the last one did, but Nolly will try to do his best as Mats finds to control a tiny bit, but gives it away to Mats Gray, who has 0 boost now. It's going to be hard, but you just want to waste as much time as possible. Nolly onto the backboard. Is there going to be a quick shot? No, Mats blocks it off once again, and the seconds keep on ticking away, keep on ticking down. It's the last 3 seconds, a goal now, or you will have to be silent, and we will go to that 1-1 scoreline.
That we will, as yeah, K-Corp, it was a great rally back from them, but they just couldn't finish the job, it seemed like. You know, taking away the 2-0 lead that Multiculti had, and all of a sudden it's just getting turned right back on its head. And the quick kickoff goal from Mads, it was, I think it was good. We're going to see it here. Yeah, this goal straight off of the kickoff after Carmine Corp level it up from Mats Gray and Mads to work their way out of the kickoff and straight into that third goal. That is where they really won it. That is where K-Corp really just couldn't turn it around. And I keep saying this about, you know, K-Corp, once they get a bit of a rally going, as soon as they get shut down, they get shut down, and they don't seem to be able to bounce back from me, Spooks.
I will say, though, they felt a bit unlucky during that match. Like a couple of times where they had full offense. You think, oh yeah, that ball is going in for sure. No way it's getting saved. And then out of nowhere, it still is getting saved. So luck hasn't been on their side. But then in the end, Rocket League is a game where you have to make and force your own luck.
Oh, the luck currently on the side of Fluck. As now Mads and the rest of the Danes now with a game on the boards against K-Corp. Remember, this is to stay in the tournament. Whoever wins here will go on to face against Multiculti in our final match of the day. Whoever loses here will be completely out of the tournament, and if you survive this one, guaranteed a spot in Saturday's playoffs. The question of where you'll be the 2 seed or the 3 seed, that'll be the game up next for you. Comes Mads, shot on net, not troubled too much is Astro. And everything just slowing itself down. Both these teams know the great importance of this game and to try and get a good start. And neither team really want to make a mistake, but good shot by Oli, followed up by Astro. Will not lead to anything for K-Corp just yet.
Nolly knows how important those starts are and almost gets a really good one for Karma Corp. Once again, a good pass into the middle. Astral almost getting it on target. But there's Itachi. Once again, quick shot, Mats. Not really faced by it at all. Easily saved and put away, but it still goes on. Beautiful pass from Nolly. And that is the link up you're looking for.
And it just completely catches Mustafluck off guard. Creamy diving in. And there's been too many times for me that I've seen Creamy going for a ball that he really shouldn't have. I mean, there was the one a few games ago where Mads, or was it Matt's Gray? I think it was Matt's Gray had a chance to follow up a touch from Mads, and Creamy just comes streaming in over the top. And once again, Creamy diving in.
Oh,
Doesn't seem all that well worked together. Here comes Astro. Yeah, for Mustafluck, they just don't seem to always be on the same page. And for me, it's Creamy that's the one forcing the issue a lot when he really shouldn't be.
I think from watching Karimi quite a lot beforehand as well, and as this ball will just roll on in from Itachi, who we wanted someone to wake up from Carmine Corp. And to me, Itachi has been slowly opening his eyes more and more, and it enables Nolly to use him as a bit of a passing option.
And it's great to see the teamwork from Carmine Corp after we were very critical of them earlier on. It does seem like they've got their ducks in a row here. Itachi now gives that one up for Creamy, and he'll just be allowed to solo play up front. Maybe that's the best idea for Mustafluck. If Creamy wants to be the one to dive at balls, just let him go up first, and then Mads and Matsgray could maybe be the ones to clean this one up, but this one will be cleaned up instead by Nolly. A 3-goal lead as the mistake by Matsgray just leaves it for K-Corp.
Nolly and Itachi, their link up, especially from Nolly to Itachi, is looking so good. It's looking quite fluent, and I honestly would say at that moment in time, if you see that's the type of play that's going on, as Astral, you would probably just be better off just to let them do their thing and try to be a bit of the facilitator there in the defense. Let them go, let them be on offense. Here once again a passing play coming out. This one doesn't work out, but Nolly does get a demo or two in, and it just opens up so much freedom from Astro, but Astro can't do much with it. Ran out of boost. Itachi to Nolly once again, and there is the fourth, but of course it is.
These touches that Astral's getting as well. Look at that one. How do you predict what that ball is going to do? I know Matsgray does get a touch to it, but it's just straight back into the path of Itachi, and Nolly, a full 3-man passing play for Carmine Corp to take that 4-goal lead. They just seem to be reading each other's minds of the K-Corp boys. And Mustafluck, they don't even know what Creamy's going to do next. That's all it seems like to me right now, Spooks, is the more cohesive unit is Carmine Corp. Maybe a 5th going in, Nats does make the save. But for Mustafluck, where's the aggression? Where's the team chemistry? There's no trust in any of them. As Creamy again dives in, leaves 2 men on the back post. They do get it away, but running out of time.
It is hard to trust a team where you, of course, haven't had that same build-up. Of course, Carmine Corp has played together so much more. Nolly, almost with the pre-jump. I want to look at this from the angle from Nolly, because Astro's up. Nolly's already jumping into the air, gets a small little touch that baits out and fakes out the defender. And then it's an easy tap in for Itachi.
I don't even know what Nolly thinks in that moment. He's just, like you said, up in the air, doesn't know. Well, obviously he's got some DEI glass. He's shaking his Magic 8-Ball and says, hey, yes, Magic 8-Ball, will I get a touch on this ball? And it's came back and said, signs point to yes. 5-0 for K-Corp, after we were kind of not so much writing them off, but at least giving Mustafluck a little bit more of a chance than this. My oh my, it's not really gone well for the Danes. Yeah, again, they leave their backline open. This game is dead and buried. Maybe a 6th now for Itachi, his 4th of the game. I think he, like, in the game that we saw earlier, or the match that we saw earlier, Spooks, I believe that Itachi probably only had maybe 1, maybe 2 goals. Now he's got 4 in this game alone.
It seems that, like I said before, Itachi really has slowly been waking up. And I think the way this is looking, this could be a bit of the appetizer to know what this Carmine Corp would be able to do. I think for now, looking at this, your only problem point right now is just to look at how can you integrate Astro into it. But if things go like this for Mustafluk, yeah, then get the Cephadon in, get a bit of the stat padding going. Maybe let Mustafluk score one, get the Brazil out of the way as well.
You know how I said earlier they were setting up the Brazil
in
Game 1? Well, they've just set it up. And the question is, do you just let Mustafluk score and force the Brazil?
I don't think they will.
Nah, I don't think they will either. They got their foot firmly pressed in the gas pedal. Nolly's wanting another one. 5 goals from Itachi alone. 2 from Nolly. Astro, yeah, he's only got a couple of shots on the board, but maybe even a 3rd shot, and maybe even an 8th goal for K-Corp. Won't fall this time. But if you had any doubts about this roster, I think they've been put to bed, certainly by this game alone. K-Corp go on to match point, and Mustafluk have a lot of questions to answer in the next 60 seconds.
They definitely do, and I think, like I said before, this is, if you're a K-Corp fan, this is the type of stuff you want to look at. This is the K-Corp you want to see. Now it's just, how do you get
No shots, by the way. I just saw that. No shots by Mustafluk.
Wait, what?
At all. 0. 0.0. Full Plutarski for Mustafluk. No shots on the board. That is so...
painful.
That is damning.
That is just painful to look at. I mean, we've seen it before, during this tournament even, but not in a way like this. It is painful. But
yeah.
for Mustafluk, I normally, what I always take a notice of is that when you lose really, really badly, the next game, bouncing back is so much easier than if you lose a very close overtime.
Yeah, I don't see a bounce back for Mustafluk in this one whatsoever. No, I really don't. I really don't, because they're I mean, yes, okay, you're talking about, yes, it's easier to bounce back or than by getting blown out than it is from, you know, losing a squeaker. I sort of agree with that. Depends on the circumstance, really. But if you've had 0 shots on goal in a game, that is just... I can't remember the last time I've seen a professional game of Rocket League where a team had, at a high level of Rocket League like this is, I don't remember a time where a team had absolutely no shots on goal. That is just ridiculous.
The Crafters. Creamy has changed cars.
Oh!
Creamy has changed cars.
Has he?
It is actually possible now for them to win.
Oh, yeah, yep. Chalk it up, guys. Mustafluk's gonna win this one.
Good. It's going very good.
It's going better than good.
Due to the car change.
All due to the car change, even though Creamy had absolutely nothing to do with that goal. Mads all on his lonesome. And it was goodbye defense for Carmine Corp. And obviously not been tested, at least in the last 5 minutes or so of gameplay. First one that Mustafluk have, the first opportunity that they have to score, they bury it deep in the back of the blue net. Now Carmine Corp have the questions to answer. Can they regain from this? As Mads dropping it down, gets the demo on Noli, and Mads makes it 2.
What a beautiful pass right there. Mads, he actually gets the goal because of it. I thought Karimi finished it off, but apparently not. But this is unexpected, but also semi-expected, because game 1 went fully in favor of Carmine Corp. Then we saw Mustafluk bounce back. Game 3, I mean, went fully in favor of Carmine Corp. Now Mustafluk is bouncing back, but now it's just important. Can they keep a hold of his Itachi? Leaves it alone, can't get the touch he would have wanted. Nolly dropping it back down to Astro, who's just a bit too far pushed up, meaning that Metzgray now lost the control. He probably would have wanted to do more of that. Nolly onto the backboard. Quick shot from Itachi, inbound with the bump as well, but Karimi getting the save.
So what you're saying here, Spooks, is that Mustaflux going to win this game like 2-1, 3-1, perhaps, and
Yeah.
then Carmine Corp will win Game 5 with like
10-0.
17-0 or something
Yeah,
like that.
pretty much.
Okay. Okay, I'm with you. You still got most of the majority of this game still to go. Mr. Fluck trying to get a third on the board. Won't happen that time. Not able to send that one right back upfield. As we, at least for us here, we regain our vision on the game, and Itachi is just blinded out the entire field. Turns it to Sepia Tone as he gets one in the back of the net.
This is now the second time where we have a bit of a screen freeze, and then we turn back and we see Itachi score.
So what? Itachi just needs our stream to freeze. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. And maybe Nolly doesn't need our screen to freeze. But it has happened before. It has happened again. Mustafluk give away a 2-goal lead. But remember what happened last time? This happened.
Yes. They brought it back. Did Carmine Corp after a 2-goal lead for Mustafluk back to 2-2. And then I believe Mustafluk scored within about 30 seconds. Might be the other way round as Carmine Corp and Astral try to bring that one down. But you see Nolly and Itachi just sitting back. You still have these, tendencies to stick back and be the ones to, have Carmine Corp have that little bit of an anchor play at the back. Don't want to take too many risks at this point, especially now that you've got the game tied back up. Itachi to the backboard, forces two players to go for it, that being Mads and Creamy. Itachi maybe on the turnaround here. We'll get this one from Matscray. Natty well towards the opposite corner. And K-Corp starting to pile on the pressure, but Mustafluk dealing with it very, very well. Still 2 minutes left. Creamy could duck that one down, but it only finds the path of